Welcome to A Pilgrim's Hearth, a podcast for the mom who needs a short rest in order to feel renewed for the journey. Join me, Kate Wilson, each week as we enjoy something good, true, and beautiful together in the same amount of time that we have to enjoy our coffee while it's still hot. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to A Pilgrim's Hearth. Maybe these warm summer months have you spending more time outside, which maybe means slowing down a bit, noticing things a little longer, lingering to look closely at a bird perched on the fence or a body of water that ripples in the breeze. I know it does for us. We spend hours sitting on the back porch watching birds, pretending we can identify them from their sounds, saying for the 100th time, "Close the door behind you," when the kids go in and out for just one sip of water instead of bringing the whole water bottle outside with them. It's a slower rhythm and a quieter space for our minds. And yet, sometimes we tend to fill the days all the way up until the last ray of light slips away. We live close to an amusement park that my family has passes to, and we'll often just pop in for lunch and then again for dinner. It brings an ease to our day, but also changes our rhythm. Although we have time to watch the birds, I think less about the ideas that are passing into our minds. I focus less on counting down the minutes left in their screen time. I forget to ask what they're reading about, and things like fairy tales and poetry will get lost in the shuffle of swimming bags packed and repacked and watermelon juice spilling off of the counters. Maybe in your slowness, like mine, you also find it a bit less intentional, a bit less focused. Slow, yes. Quiet, sure. But intentional, less so. Well, if that's you, I hope you'll join me for just a few moments while we quiet our minds and focus in a bit. Not on staying hydrated or applying sunscreen, but on something that maybe in the simplest of ways can shape the way we live these summer days. There's a story, a fairy tale, about a mom and a dad. Well, at first, it starts out as a story of a husband and a wife who want to be a mom and a dad, even if the baby was no bigger than the father's thumb, they say. They are kind and gentle peasants, and they would make good parents. And one day, the wizard Merlin comes along and meets them. He is delighted by them and their desire, and so asks the fairy people of the wood if they would make this man and woman a father and a mother. The fairies say yes, and in their decision honor the exact request by making their son no bigger than the father's thumb. The mother and the father name him Tom. Tom Thumb, which is an adorable name for their only child, I think. I love names and all the beautiful stories that every person holds from their parents behind their name. My full name is Catherine, and one of my sweetest memories that I have is how the only person that I have ever known to call me by it is my granddad. I can still hear his voice say it when I think about cuddling up next to him on the couch. Anyway, Tom Thumb grows, not in size, of course, but in age, and his adventures begin. They start when his mother is baking bread, and he gets mixed in with the dough. The dough then gets put outside when she cannot understand why it is making all of that noise, and is then carried away by a traveler. The traveler is so startled by the noises from the dough bowl that he drops it and runs away, leaving poor Tom with a very long walk home. He then is eaten by a cow when his mother ties him to a piece of grass so that he wasn't blown away while she was doing chores outside. But don't worry. She quickly sees him in the cow's mouth and rescues him. And finally, he is carried away off of the harness of the cow while it is plowing the fields by a bird, who then drops little Tom on the head of a giant. The giant then plucks him off his head and thinks about eating him until he realizes that Tom is a human, and so he spits him out over the ledge of the castle. Tom is then swallowed up by a fish as soon as he lands in the water, and that would be the end of our dear Tom. except that it just so happens that King Arthur had ordered fish for dinner that very evening. So the fish is then caught and whisked away to the castle kitchen, and when it is cut open, there is Tom Thumb. He is introduced to the king, and he goes on to serve as a much loved and honored Knight of the Round Table. Don't you love it? It is delightful and fun and full of adventure, and can't you just picture this cute little knight with his sewing needle sword and the thimble hat retelling his adventures around the king's table? But oh, the joy of this fairy tale is even deeper still. Don't you kind of think that his tale is similar to our lives? We are carried up high into the skies in joyful and easy and restful times. We're sometimes stuck in sticky bowls of a mess that we cannot find our way out of without crying out for help. And even then, it feels like we're limping homeward. We see things and giants and problems, and maybe even the backside of a set of teeth in a cow's mouth during our darkest days, and wonder how on earth we will get out of this mess. But all of it is leading us somewhere. All of it is not without end, and the beauty of it is that it's not just leading us to any random place, but to a king's table, to rest in the king's company and delight at the king's side. There is better joy than our very best vacation day holds, and there is greater rest than our calmest summer day. There is peace and rest coming if this summer feels less peaceful. And there is happiness greater still if this summer feels like the happiest one yet. Here, before the coffee gets cold, unless you're a summer cold brew drinker, then before your ice melts, let's spend just a few moments focusing our minds on the joy that is set before us. As we leave this hearth today, friends, I hope that it brings even a bit more sunshine to your day. I hope this idea of adventure helps you to see anything you face today, no matter how high or low it may be, whether it's as big as a medical diagnosis or as small as a lost sandal on the way out the door, that all of it serves a purpose. All of it is preparing you to enter into the King's true court.